Certain top 5 topics get requested a little bit more than some of the other ones. Speedsoft builds, pistol builds, sniper builds. People love seeing those, but what about a topic that hits right at home for a lot of airsofters? Gaming is probably the most popular reason why people start playing airsoft. Games like Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo, the Tom Clancy series, and so on. Those titles get so many people into the game, so it's about time I show some love for some of the custom guns that have come out of the fandoms of these games. And anything was allowed for submissions as long as it was video game related, so expect to see a healthy mix of everything in this countdown. And I'll even show off a couple previous entries that need another mention for this show. So here we go again. This is the Airsoft Tops Series, and these are just 5 custom video game inspired airsoft guns. This is the series that shows off hundreds of custom airsoft guns from all around the world, which is sponsored by Airsoft GI, who helped me piece this countdown together. G&G Armament, who have a lot of new stuff hitting the market, like the short barrel 308 called the Mark 1 SBR, a 9mm AK called the PRK9, and much more. And thanks to the movie Sniper: Assassin's End. Legendary sniper Thomas Beckett and his son are on the run from the CIA, Russian mercenaries, and a Yakuza-trained assassin. It's the setup for a new addition to the Sniper series, and you can rent it digitally on Blu-ray or on DVD right now for free, thanks to a little giveaway that Sony Pictures is letting me put together. I'm giving away 10 rental digital copies starting with YouTube, so here's the first code. Go ahead and redeem it quickly on moviesanywhere.com. But that's not the only code that I'm giving away. I'll give the first person to ask for a code another code, and they'll need to act quick to enter it, and I'll add a code somewhere in the description. The last codes will be posted on Instagram, Facebook, and I'll give a random member of the channel a code. The more people winning these codes, the better, because I just like giving away stuff to you guys. But big thanks to Sony Pictures for wanting to work with me, and for allowing me to treat you all like this. But back to the show. This is the series that shows off hundreds of custom airsoft guns from all around the world, where guns are ranked for their creativeness, their craftsmanship, and their originality. And we begin this episode at number 5, that's held by a longtime submitter from Indonesia named Yagi. If you like low-budget airsoft builds and Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, then check this out. Crafted from a 3/4 scale Chinese-made Barrett look-alike Springer, Yagi set out to replicate the AE4 by first cutting a hole to place a decorative voltmeter. The barrel was then replaced with a clear PVC pipe, and the stock was extended so as to be a little bit more useful. More PVC was used for details before paint was applied to give this replica a futuristic look fitting of the source material. Then finally, Yagi installed a switch and an LED that connects to the trigger and the charging handle, which looks really good. The internals were left stock, apart from a homemade hop-up bucking, to complete this Advanced Warfare AE4. And I'm loving this build because it was built cheap, and it was built on something that no one would really buy if they were really serious about playing airsoft. Yagi made this nothing into something, and I love the animation when it's fired and charged. And that's why it's at the 5th spot. And I'll just say it now, I'm sure that Yagi will have a lot more to submit for future countdowns. Moving on up, I'm going to show a little bit of love to a friend of the channel. Solotron has taken the 4th spot for his Call of Duty Black Ops 2 FN HAMR. Black Ops 2 is in my top 3 favorite Call of Duties of all time, and even though I hardly ever used it in multiplayer, the Heat Adaptive Modular Rifle was super popular in that game. So it's nice to see that it's brought into life in the airsoft world thanks to a VFC Scar H and a Redline Airsoft N7 Gen 2 FCU engine. For range, Solo is using the popular Max Flat Hop-Up and a Maple Leaf 80° Super Macaroon bucking. On the outside, to complete the hammer look, we have a VFC Scar Flash Hider, an extended barrel, the exact bipod seen in the game, a custom Redline IGL from Amped Airsoft, and a modified SR25 Firestorm Flash Drum magazine. And with all of this inside, this support weapon is firing at 23 rounds per second, which is right in the safe zone of rates of fire where no one should really complain about crazy ROFs. And thanks to the N7, Solo can utilize the unique Scar folding stock battery system, so the gun will fire when the stock is folded. Very neat. So now that we have an HPA hammer, and I've shot a gas blowback hammer inspired build, can we just start on building an LSAT next and develop a target finder after that? I mean, Joshua from California put together a ray gun Mark II for an older episode I put together out of a Crytek PDW, so I don't see why we can't just make more Black Ops 2 guns. But hey, that's just a little bit of food for thought. With the Call of Duty builds shown off, we move across the pond to Manchester, where Curtis keeps this Deus Ex TMP-18 Hurricane-inspired JG Mac-10 AEP. That's a mouthful. Coming from the Deus Ex Human Revolution and Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Curtis spent only $50 on this build thanks to second-hand sales. The internals that are completely stock probably helped his budget, but he did rewire and add a fuse inside this SMG to accept 7.4 volt and 11.1 volt LiPo batteries, which makes for quick trigger responses and insane fire rates. On the outside, a 3D printed conversion concept from the Deus Ex TMP-18 Hurricane wraps this JG Mac-10 that was completely molded up and printed by Curtis himself using PETG in black. In addition of a spare buffer tube and a Magpul style AR stock, this build would be complete. However, Curtis is looking at utilizing an MP5 style collapsing stock to make the look even closer to that of the in-game model, and I'm really happy to hear that. The suppressor is still removable, allowing for a unique aggressive look and to quiet the report of this AEP that fires at 300 feet per second with 0.2 gram BBs, making it CQB legal at most arenas, which is where something like this can truly shine. Curtis was bored of seeing M4s and G36s everywhere, so this was his way to escape it all while enjoying a unique look from one of his favorite games. Next, since he's proved that he can build something like this, he's preparing to take on a Halo 3 ODST SMG project and maybe a Reaper's G36 from the Doom film. He's got a lot going on, so we might see more from this builder in future episodes. Next at the runner-up spot, things get very serious. These next two builds should be in gaming magazines, like Joshua's Metro Exodus Dan Wesson 715 Revolver Carbine. I know I've already mentioned this builder, but no one is going to complain about seeing more creative stuff in the game of Airsoft. So at the runner-up spot from Huddersfield, West Yorkshire, England, Simon Schell presents his Tokamuri Mark 23 SOCOM Nintendo Zapper. Alright, where do I even begin? This isn't just a paint job with some external attachments. This is an in and out custom of a Tokamuri classic non-blowback. I've never even seen these kinds of mods done to a Mark 23, but Simon added a Maple Leaf Autobot 50-degree bucking, a Hadron Designs non-blowback modular TDC cover, a Maple Leaf 150mm 6.04 Crazy Jet inner barrel, a 9-ball custom Mark 23 high bullet valve, and a Maple Leaf I-Key hop topper. Then on the outside, where people really stop and look around, a 9-ball version 2 undermount works with an Olight RL flashlight and red dot combo, and sits under a Tokamuri AEG tracer unit. A Tokamuri micro pro sight and cover was added, and then a 9-ball Mark 23 custom slide finishes things up. With these parts and the spray paints, decals, and all the magazines, you're looking at a $1,000 Tokamuri pistol that shoots laser beams thanks to the trace unit, and I would have been disappointed if it didn't. Built on nostalgia and built from research after trial and error, Simon surely has a standout pistol that's deserving of a magazine cover. All the details just made this build pop, and I'm really happy I got the chance to show it off here on the Airsoft Tops Series. You gotta admire all the Borderlands submissions that were made for this countdown. They'd fit perfectly at any apocalyptic event, and they look so odd just sitting by themselves. Have any of these in your collection and people will be asking a few questions about these in specific. The Halo guns were also really cool to see, like this Reach shotgun from Adam, built on a Jagarm scatter gun. Only if I could throw in Mark Cherry's Spartan laser as a spot holder, but sadly it's already been placed in a previous episode. That thing needs a lot more attention for just how much work went into that build. However, that doesn't mean that he can't take the top spot for a different episode. So, presenting Mark Cherry's and Jesse Pearson's Halo Plasma Pistols. These dual effort creations began with Jasmine laser tag guns, but the builders kept in mind that they wanted to keep as many effects that came original to the laser gun, but that doesn't mean you can't add an AEP VZ61 Scorpion inside it. Many of the original features were kept, with the exception of replaced parts by Mark's design to move the features out of the way of the Airsoft tech. The kind of tech that would allow semi-auto shots and a charged shot, just like the plasma pistol seen in the Halo series. Xbox controller rumble motors add on an additional effect when charging these pistols before they fire a 3-round burst. This burst would have been far greater if the magazine size wasn't as low as it is already with the Scorpion. For power, these run on 11.1 LiPos with an active brake MOSFET that was built by the Duo, that comes with a voltage regulator to run the version 5 electronics. The overheat feature is retained as in the blowback feature, and the speakers have been doubled in volume output and relocated for a greater sound. Unsurprisingly, these pistols are fairly heavy because not 1 square centimeter of free space is left inside. Even a tracer unit was added to the hop-up, so you probably understand why now. To complete the look, Mark and Jesse wanted it to look like the game gun and not like a toy, so they eliminated all the external screw holes and used magnets to do most of the work holding the shell together. You can see the difference that this made when looking at the original laser toy. Then Cerakote firearms coating mixed with gun candy stingray that glazes the body to give you the look that you see before you. So with that, there shouldn't be any doubt why these made the top spot. Just like Mark's Spartan laser, these plasma pistols cover all the bases. Nothing was left undone, and even the little things that no one would even notice were worked on to make these as perfect as they possibly could be. Powerful magnets were even added onto a drop leg holster so they would hold onto one of these tightly, just like in the game. So let me say it again, nothing was left undone, apart from firing real plasma. So I give Mark and Jesse, or Spartan Jess, my respect for bringing these into reality. With video game builds finished, I'm contemplating what I should do next. Realistic airsoft guns, airsoft vehicles, maybe a budget countdown? I know you guys have been asking for that, so maybe that. But let me know in the comments what you would like to see next, and I'll keep an eye out on those comments, or tell me what your favorite build was in this countdown. The owners of a lot of these guns will be reading the comments too, so show them some love. And if you think you have a build that deserves to be on the top spot, then keep an eye out on the USAirsoft Instagram and on the USAirsoft Facebook page where polls are submitted for future episodes. That way, I'll see your builds, and so will the judges. With all that read and said, I'd like to give a big shout out to the Airsoft Heretics group on Facebook for hosting the most popular poll. I'd like to thank Airsoft GI, GNG Armament, and Sniper Assassin's End for sponsoring this countdown. And I'd like to give a big shout out to the channel members who directly support the channel. So thank you Kiwi Spartan, Lone Wolf, Cirque Du No Way, F4R Kalash, Western Gilbert, Easy Zandy, and William Temple. All these supporters knew this video was being made before anyone else, and the tier 2 members even got to see it before anyone else. So if you'd like to join them, then check out the button on the front page of the USAirsoft channel and choose what tier you would like to join in. Every member gets rewards, and I appreciate anyone who looks into becoming a member. But until that next video drops from the city of San Antonio, this has been Scott Hollenbeck, and I will be sure to see you all next time.